In this video, I'll show you how to take a sparkler and a light bulb and create an amazing picture at home. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. And in this video, I'll show you how you can take an amazing photo of a sparkler and a light bulb in your small home studio. So let's take a look at the setup, and it is really simple. At the back I've got a small sparkler and it's tiny. It's the sort of thing you'll find in a cake or maybe a cocktail. In front of that is a light bulb. This just happens to be a vintage light bulb, which means there's a yellow colour to the glass. You don't need that, but it looks good in the final picture. Both of those are held in place by a small piece of blue tack, and I will see the blue tack in the final shots, but fortunately it's really easy to remove that in Photoshop. Now everything is placed on a black glossy floor tile. I don't need that as such, but it does two important jobs. The first one, it gives a little bit of protection from the sparks, but the second job, it adds a fantastic reflection below. Now when it comes to taking the pictures, I will need to turn all the lights out and do this in total darkness, but that doesn't mean to say that the background will go black. So I've got a black background there so you can clearly see the sparks. So that's the setup. What about the camera? I'll be using my trusty Benro tripod for this because the shutter is going to be open for a full 1 second. That long exposure means I've got lots of time to capture lots of sparks. I also need a depth of field that's quite large, so I'll use f11. These sparks travel further than you think. To balance up the exposure, I need an ISO of 400. How do I know that? Well, I've already practiced this and worked out the exposure so you don't have to. Now to get all those dialed in, I'll need to be in manual mode on the camera, and I'm going to be in manual focus. And I'm going to focus right in the middle of the light bulb. Once the rim lights are turned out, autofocus probably won't help. The camera itself is actually lined up with the light bulb, and directly behind it is the sparkler. And that should mean the sparks all come out from the center of the light bulb. Well, at least that's the idea. Let's turn the rim lights out, get this lit, and take some pictures. Those pictures look really good, but there is a bit of a problem with the light. The sparkler is passing light through the glass of the bulb, but of course it can't come through the metal of the bulb. So whilst the sparkler is cooling down, I'm going to turn the room lights off once more, get my lighter and hold it in front of the light bulb to illuminate the metal part of the bulb. I'll take a picture of that, making sure my camera and bulb haven't moved, and then in Photoshop we'll bring everything together, and we're going to do that right now. Well, the sparkler might have been small and it didn't last very long, but I got lots of pictures in that short time. And of course, the more sparklers you use, the more variety of shots you'll get. Every one will be different. And this is the picture I've chosen to work on. I like this shot because it's got a nice symmetry to the sparks and a great reflection below. But you can clearly see that, well, it is a little bit kind of silhouetted in this area here. Well, that's where the final shot that I took, this one comes into play, because this one has that lovely colour and shape in the bottom of the light bulb. Now, you might think I'm just going to cut that part out and paste it in, but one of the big advantages of being on a tripod is I can actually just take the whole picture. So in Photoshop, I'm going to go to Select and All, then across to Edit and choose Copy. I'll jump back to the other picture by clicking its tab, and going back to the top and choose Edit and Paste. Now those two pictures are going to be in perfect alignment, and if you're not sure, well, we can check that by going over to the layers, and we now have two layers. All I need to do is change the layer blending mode, which is currently set to normal. I'm going to change it to screen. Screen has a magic blending mode where anything that is pure black becomes totally transparent, and we get to see straight away that this is perfectly aligned. It looks great down here, but I have a Zippo that I don't need and some weird reflections there. So let's remove those, but not necessarily by how you might imagine. In fact, what I'm going to do is go up to Layer, Layer Mask, and choose Hide All. Now that will remove everything that I've just done, and that sounds like a backward step, but that's just made life a lot easier, because all I need to do now is to go to the brush tool, make sure my foreground color is set to white, just press D and then X if it isn't, and then I just have to paint right here, and I can just paint that area back in just like that. And there you go. Now that blue tack at the bottom might need cloning out, but other than that, there it is. My final picture is completed and it has amazing detail when you look up close. Well, if you've enjoyed this technique, hopefully you'll give it a go yourself and leave me a comment below. If you want to see more videos from myself and the other amazing presenters right here on Adorama TV, well, you know what you've got to do. You've got to click on that subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.